Every day we're bombarded by 1,000 things that compete for our attention, our peace, and our focus. The traffic jam that makes us late, the harsh words from a colleague, the disappointment when things don't go our way, the uncertainty of tomorrow. It feels as if the noise of this world never stops. But deep within us, there's a yearning for stillness, for that unshakable peace that doesn't rise and fall with circumstances. Why do we get so easily bothered? It's because we've grown too accustomed to reacting rather than resting in God's promises. We forget that we are not citizens of this world. We are children of a higher kingdom. And while the world tells us to scream back, to fight for control, to defend our pride, God gently invites us to walk in quiet confidence, to trust Him with what we cannot control. Imagine standing in the middle of a raging storm with the calm of Christ in your heart. Not because the winds aren't real, but because your foundation is stronger than the storm. That's what it means to learn to act as if nothing bothers you. It's not about pretending or putting on a mask. It's about letting the peace of God be more real to you than the chaos around you. It's about making a choice every day to let the still small voice of God drown out the shouting world. I remember a time in my life when everything seemed to be spinning out of control. The plans I had made began to unravel, and the people I trusted began to falter. There were nights I would lie awake, wrestling with the weight of anxiety, wondering if I could hold it all together. But it was in that place of brokenness that the Lord reminded me of something profound. Be still and know that I am God. When you learn to act as if nothing bothers you, you're not ignoring your problems, you're placing them in the hands of the Almighty. You're saying, Lord, I can't fix this on my own, but I know you can. You're stepping out of your own strength and into His. There is something powerful, even holy, about the quiet resilience that comes from trusting God completely. It is the peace that passes all understanding, not because life is easy, but because you know who holds your life. People may misunderstand your calm. They may think you're indifferent or detached, but that's not what this is. This is a holy calm, a sacred stillness that comes from knowing your life is anchored in something eternal. The winds may blow, the waves may rise, but you are held firm because your eyes are not on the storm. They're on the one who walks on water. And once you've tasted that kind of peace, you never want to live another day without it. There's a deep strength that comes from learning how to protect your peace, especially in a world that seems determined to steal it at every turn. Every day we're met with distractions, confrontations, bad news, and even worse attitudes. People will push your buttons, test your patience, and try to draw you into battles that aren't even yours to fight. But you, child of God, are called to something higher. You're called to walk with the poise of someone who knows the victory has already been won. I recall a season in my life when the criticism came fast and heavy. People misunderstood my intentions, twisted my words, and painted pictures of me that were far from the truth. And oh, how I wanted to defend myself, to set the record straight. But instead I heard that still small voice saying, let me fight for you. And I did. I stepped back and let God step in. And over time He proved what I could never prove with my words. When you act as if nothing bothers you, you are not pretending that you feel nothing. You are proclaiming by faith that nothing will steal what God has placed in you. Your peace, your joy, your hope, they are not up for negotiation. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop chasing validation from those who cannot see your value. You rise above it, not because you are better than them, but because you serve a God who lifts you higher than the mess of the moment. And that, my friend, is freedom. That is power. That is the peace of God at work in a life surrendered fully to Him. When you learn to act as if nothing bothers you, doesn't mean you're numb or indifferent. It means you've chosen to rise above the chaos. It means you've learned to walk through storms with a calm spirit because your anchor holds firm in something deeper than what the world can see. It means you've trained your heart to stay steady even when the waves crash around you. Not because the winds aren't real, not because the waves aren't fierce, but because your foundation is the rock that cannot be moved. I remember once standing at the bedside of a dear friend who was going through one of the hardest trials of her life. Loss, betrayal, disappointment, all crashing down at once. And yet there she was, peaceful, smiling even. I asked her how she managed to hold it all together. She said, I gave it to Jesus. I decided I wouldn't let this world take my peace. That moment taught me something I've never forgotten. Your peace is a gift from God, and you have the power to protect it. People might think you're cold or detached when you refuse to react, but what they don't see is the spiritual warfare going on behind the scenes. They don't see the prayers you've prayed, the tears you've cried, or the strength it takes to remain still when everything in you wants to scream. They don't know what it costs to be quiet in the face of noise, but God knows. And when you act as if nothing bothers you, not out of pride, but from a place of trust, you honor Him. You declare to the enemy that he has no power over your mind, your emotions, or your future. That's not weakness, that's warfare. That's victory. One of the most powerful traits you can develop is the ability to pause before you respond. When someone offends you, when life takes an unexpected turn, when your plans fall apart, your first instinct might be to react. Maybe with anger, maybe with fear, maybe with tears. But in that sacred pause, in that brief moment of stillness before you say or do anything, you're standing at a crossroads. You can either let your emotions drive the car, or you can let your spirit take the wheel. I remember watching my father growing up, how calm he seemed when things went wrong. One time, our home had a terrible leak during a storm. Water was pouring in, and everyone was panicking. But he just walked over, assessed the situation, and said, "We'll fix it. Let's pray first." That stuck with me. He taught me that how we respond in chaos is more powerful than how we react. Because anyone can explode, anyone can panic, but it takes strength to be still. It takes courage to breathe, pray, and move forward with intention. When you act as if nothing bothers you, you're not pretending life is easy. You're not ignoring reality. You're choosing a higher path. You're telling the world and the enemy that you won't be mastered by emotions or controlled by circumstances. You're anchored in something greater. And that pause before your response, that's where the power is. That's where God whispers wisdom into your soul and gives you the strength to rise above it all. When you learn to act as if nothing bothers you, you begin to walk in a strength that doesn't need to be announced. There's a quiet confidence in your step, a peace that the world can't give and the world can't take away. It's not about arrogance or pretending you're invincible. It's about being anchored so deeply in your identity and your faith that outside circumstances lose their power to shake you. That doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It doesn't mean you don't have moments of struggle, but you carry it differently. You don't let it define you or determine your peace. You become like a tree planted by the rivers of water, as Psalm 1 says. Your roots run deep. When the winds blow and the storm rages, you might sway, but you won't fall. People around you might not understand how you're standing so calm while everything around seems uncertain. They may even test you, poke at you, try to rattle you, but you've made a decision in your spirit that you won't give them that power. You know who you are, and more importantly, you know whose you are. There's a spiritual authority that rises in you when you refuse to be moved by temporary frustrations. And that's when people start noticing there's something different about you. Not because you shout louder or push back harder, but because you stay still when others run wild. Because you smile when others grumble. Because you trust when others panic. That is the kind of faith that moves mountains. Not the loud kind, but the steady, immovable kind that says, I know my Redeemer lives and I shall not be shaken. As you learn to act as if nothing bothers you, something remarkable begins to happen within you. A transformation takes place. It's not that you are becoming immune to life's challenges or that you are ignoring the pain or the frustrations. No, it's much deeper than that. What begins to change is how you respond. Instead of allowing every little thing to provoke a reaction, you gain control over your responses. And with that control comes a peace that is rooted not in the absence of problems, but in the presence of God. I remember a time when I was overwhelmed with the weight of responsibilities, work, family, personal challenges. It all seemed to be pressing down on me. I found myself reacting to every little inconvenience, allowing stress to dictate my mood and my actions. Then one day, during a quiet moment of reflection, I felt God gently speak to my heart. Why are you letting these things control you? Do you trust that I am bigger than your worries, stronger than your fears? Those words changed everything. From that moment on, I made a decision to no longer allow circumstances to dictate my peace. I chose to act as if nothing bothered me, not because I was perfect, but because I knew that God was in control. When you begin to act as if nothing bothers you, you start to take authority over your emotions. You choose not to be ruled by what's happening around you. Yes, things will still go wrong. People will still let you down. Life will still throw curveballs, but you no longer live at the mercy of those things. You become the one who chooses peace, who chooses joy, who chooses faith, even in the storm. And as you continue to make that choice, you'll notice a shift, not only in how you react, but in how you walk. You become a living testament to the power of God's peace. And others will see that there is something unshakable about you. They'll wonder how you maintain your calm. And that will be your opportunity to tell them about the strength and peace that comes from trusting in the Lord. As you continue to practice acting as if nothing bothers you, it becomes a powerful testimony not only to those around you, but also to yourself. There's a unique peace that comes from being unshaken in the face of adversity. A peace that speaks volumes without uttering a single word. People may watch you and wonder how you're able to stand tall when they know your life is not free from troubles, but it's your trust in God, your ability to lean into His understanding, that will speak louder than any explanation. I recall a time when I witnessed a close friend face a personal tragedy. Everyone around her expected her to fall apart. Many even tried to offer their condolences, assuming she was devastated. But to everyone's surprise, she stood firm. She didn't deny her grief, but she didn't let it overwhelm her either. She carried herself with quiet dignity, her heart anchored in God's promises. I know God is in control, she told me, and I trust Him to work all things out for good, even in this. It was then that I truly understood the power of acting as if nothing bothers you. It wasn't an act of pretending. It was a conscious choice to allow God to reign supreme over her emotions and actions. In those moments, the peace you carry becomes contagious. You start to realize that others look to you for stability when the world around them is chaotic. Your calm presence becomes a beacon of hope, a reflection of God's ability to bring stillness in the storm. But it's not about you. It's about the God you serve. He's the one who sustains you, and when you trust in His sovereignty, you can walk through the deepest valleys without being swallowed up by them. It's not that you don't feel the weight of the world around you. It's that you've learned to rely on the one who lifts the burden from your shoulders. You've learned that nothing, no trial, no heartbreak can separate you from the peace that God gives. As you continue to live with the mindset that nothing bothers you, one of the most profound changes that occurs is the deepening of your faith. When you choose to act as if nothing bothers you, you are in essence making a daily decision to trust God with every circumstance. Each time you face a challenge and choose peace over panic, you are planting seeds of faith that will grow into an unshakable trust in the Lord. You are saying, I trust that He will handle whatever comes my way. And with each choice, your trust in Him grows, and so does your ability to navigate life with grace and confidence. There have been many times in my life when I faced situations that seemed insurmountable. I thought I could never overcome them. But looking back, I see how God's faithfulness was evident in each step I took. Each time I chose to rely on Him, each time I chose peace over fear, I was growing in faith. It wasn't always easy, but it was always worth it. In those moments of difficulty, when the world said to give up, when the voices around me said to fall apart, I chose to act as if nothing bothered me. I chose to say, God has this. And every time, He proved that He truly does. This choice to act with unshaken faith doesn't just affect you personally. It transforms your relationships, your outlook, and even your actions. It creates an atmosphere around you that invites others to experience the same peace you carry. It encourages those around you to look beyond their own struggles and see the power of God's peace working in and through you. It's a witness, not just to your own strength, but to His, the one who gives you the strength to face anything and still walk in peace. And as your faith grows, you start to realize that the things that once seemed so overwhelming are nothing compared to the greatness of the God you serve. You begin to recognize that each challenge is just another opportunity for God to reveal Himself to you in a new way. As you continue to act as if nothing bothers you, you come to a deeper understanding of His sovereignty, His love, and His ability to make all things work together for good. The peace you experience becomes a testimony to His power, and in that peace you are able to rest in the truth that no matter what happens, God is in control. As you embrace the practice of acting as if nothing bothers you, you begin to witness how this mindset not only changes your own life, but also impacts those around you. Your peace, your steadiness in the storm becomes a light in a world full of darkness. People will begin to notice something different about you. They'll see how you don't get easily rattled by the pressures of life. You'll be the one who remains calm when everyone else is in turmoil, and that quiet strength will speak volumes. I think of a time when I was surrounded by people going through incredibly difficult circumstances. Some facing health battles, others dealing with financial ruin, and some struggling in their relationships. It seemed like a season of chaos. But there was one person who stood out in the middle of all that mess. She was a friend who had been through her own trials. Yet when the storm hit, she remained unshaken. I asked her how she did it, and her response was simple but profound. I've learned to trust God no matter what. I don't let the circumstances control me. I choose peace, and God gives it. That moment stuck with me because it revealed a truth that I hadn't fully grasped before. Peace isn't just a feeling, it's a choice. It's not something that just happens when life is easy or when things go smoothly. It's something you actively decide no matter what you're facing. And when you choose peace, you not only keep your heart steady, but you also become a source of stability for others. The world may be in chaos, but you, as a child of God, stand firm in the knowledge that He is with you and He will never leave you. Your ability to act as if nothing bothers you doesn't just shield you from the storms of life, it provides a safe harbor for others as well. It offers a quiet assurance that no matter how turbulent things may seem, there is hope. And that hope isn't based on circumstances, it's based on the unwavering faith that God is with you in every moment, guiding you through and giving you the strength to persevere. So when life shakes others, let your unshakable peace be a reminder of God's power and presence. Be the example that shows others what it looks like to walk through fire and still come out unscathed. As you continue to live out the practice of acting as if nothing bothers you, a deeper sense of spiritual growth begins to unfold. With each challenge, you become more aware of how God is using your calm, steady demeanor to not only transform your own heart, but to influence the hearts of those around you. You begin to understand that this is not about suppressing your emotions or denying your struggles. It's about trusting God so completely that His peace floods your soul and allows you to face anything with unwavering confidence. Think about the times in your life when you've been under immense pressure, when everything around you seemed to be falling apart. Those moments are often opportunities for your faith to be tested. When you act as if nothing bothers you, you're showing that you trust God in the most profound way. You're saying, I don't have to understand the why, but I believe in the who. This is a deep act of faith. You've chosen to let go of the need for control and instead place your trust in the one who knows the beginning from the end, the one who is sovereign over every detail of your life. And as your faith strengthens in these moments, you begin to see God's hand more clearly in your circumstances. You realize that He's been with you all along, guiding you, protecting you, and equipping you for the challenges that have come your way. When you look back at the moments that once seemed overwhelming, you see how God used those very trials to draw you closer to Him, to strengthen your character, and to deepen your understanding of His love. It's through these trials that you're shaped into the person God always intended you to be. What's remarkable is that as you continue to act in this steadfast way, it becomes easier to navigate the trials of life. Each time you choose peace over worry, calm over chaos, you're building spiritual muscle. It's like a well-worn path that becomes more familiar with every step. The more you walk it, the easier it becomes to stay on that path, no matter how rocky or difficult it may seem. You're learning that God is your refuge and your strength, a present help in times of trouble, and He will not let you be moved. This sense of unshakable peace isn't just a result of your own strength. It's the fruit of a heart that has learned to trust in God's faithfulness. The more you choose to act as if nothing bothers you, the more you become an instrument of His peace in a world that desperately needs it. And as you continue to walk through life with this quiet confidence, you'll see how God uses your example to encourage others. Your peace will be a witness to the power of God's presence in your life, a beacon of hope to those who are struggling. And with each person you touch, you'll be spreading the message that no matter what life throws your way, God is faithful and His peace passes all understanding. As you grow in this ability to act as if nothing bothers you, you begin to experience a profound shift in how you view the world and your place in it. No longer are you controlled by every little disappointment or setback. You begin to see each challenge as a chance to lean deeper into your faith and trust in God's plan. Life's difficulties no longer feel like insurmountable obstacles. Instead, they become opportunities for God to reveal His strength through your weaknesses. I recall a time in my own life when everything seemed to go wrong at once. My personal life was in turmoil, my work was more demanding than ever, and I found myself feeling drained and overwhelmed. But I chose not to let that dictate my actions. Instead, I leaned into God's Word, recalling verses like Philippians 4, 6, and 7, which remind us not to be anxious about anything, but to bring everything to God in prayer. I made a conscious decision to act as if nothing bothered me, trusting that God would carry me through, and through that decision, I found a peace that was beyond my understanding. It's not that the struggles went away, the challenges I faced didn't disappear, but my perspective changed. I no longer viewed the situations as threats to my well-being. Instead, I saw them as part of the larger tapestry of God's plan for my life. The weight of those burdens became lighter because I wasn't carrying them alone. I had allowed God to step into my circumstances and carry the load with me. By acting as if nothing bothered me, I was giving God the space to move in ways I couldn't have imagined before. This shift in perspective also allows you to embrace a deeper sense of joy, even in the midst of challenges. When you choose peace over pain, you open the door to experiencing God's presence in a more profound way. You begin to realize that your circumstances do not define your joy. Your joy is anchored in your relationship with God, in the fact that He is with you, guiding you, and working all things together for your good. The trials may not be easy, but you now have a joy that transcends your circumstances, a joy that comes from knowing that God is in control and that nothing can separate you from His love. And as you continue on this journey of acting as if nothing bothers you, you begin to reflect the character of Christ more clearly to the world around you. People begin to notice that you are different. They see your calm in the storm, your unwavering peace, and they want to know why. And in those moments, you have the chance to share with them the source of your peace, the one who gives you the strength to stand firm when everything else seems to be falling apart. Your actions speak louder than words, and through your steadfastness, others are drawn closer to the hope and peace that can only be found in Jesus Christ. What you'll begin to discover is that this practice isn't about suppressing emotions or pretending that everything is fine when it's not. It's about choosing to trust God no matter the circumstances and allowing His peace to rule in your heart. As you continue to grow in this mindset, you'll experience a deeper, more abiding sense of peace, one that becomes a powerful testimony of God's faithfulness and presence in your life. As you continue to choose peace and act as if nothing bothers you, one of the most powerful transformations that take place is the way it influences your spiritual life. You begin to develop a deeper intimacy with God, one that isn't based on your circumstances, but on your trust in His character. In every moment, you start to see God not just as a distant figure, but as the very source of your strength and peace. When you rely on Him, you start to discover that He has always been there, holding you steady when the waves were crashing all around. You may not have always recognized it, but in every trial, He was right there beside you, giving you the grace to endure, the courage to face another day, and the peace to remain steadfast. One of the most powerful aspects of acting as if nothing bothers you is that it pushes you to depend on God in a way that you might not have experienced otherwise. It challenges you to let go of self-sufficiency and embrace a deeper reliance on God's power and presence. This reliance is not born out of a sense of desperation, but from the confidence that He is able to handle everything. Your fears, your worries, your doubts. You realize that He is big enough to carry the burdens you cannot bear. You begin to see that acting as if nothing bothers you is not a sign of weakness, but a declaration of faith in the one who controls everything. It's a daily surrender, not just of your circumstances, but of your heart, knowing that He is faithful and just to guide you through it all. As this mindset grows within you, it also begins to shape the way you interact with others. People begin to notice that you are different, not because you are immune to struggles, but because you don't let them shake you. The peace you carry becomes a testimony of God's faithfulness, and it opens doors for you to share His love with others in a way that words alone cannot. When people see the calm in your spirit during a storm, they want to know the source of it. They'll ask, how can you remain so peaceful when everything is falling apart? And in that moment, you have the opportunity to point them to the source of that peace, God's presence in your life. Your actions speak louder than words, and in every moment you choose peace over anxiety, you are a living witness to the transformative power of God's grace. And with this peace, you also experience a sense of freedom that many people never find. You are no longer enslaved by the pressures of the world, the opinions of others, or the weight of circumstances. You have learned the art of surrender, of trusting God so completely that nothing in this world can steal your joy or rob you of your peace. This is not the same as ignoring problems or pretending they don't exist. It's about acknowledging them and then placing them in God's hands. You are free to face life without fear because you know that God is working all things together for your good. As you continue to walk in this peace, you'll realize that it becomes your spiritual armor, protecting you from the chaos around you. In a world that often thrives on stress and conflict, your peaceful presence is a shining example of the peace that only comes from God. You are not just surviving, you are thriving. And that thriving spirit will influence everyone you come into contact with. You'll find that peace is not a temporary state that comes and goes. It's a deep-rooted trust in God that remains steady no matter the season. And when you look back on your journey, you'll see how acting as if nothing bothers you has helped you grow spiritually, helped you cultivate a deeper relationship with God, and allowed you to become a vessel through which His peace can flow to others. What you will discover is that God has not only transformed your life through this process, but He has equipped you to be a beacon of His hope in a world that so desperately needs it. And that, my friend, is the power of walking in peace. The peace that passes all understanding. The peace that comes only from knowing God is in control of everything, and the peace that you can carry into every storm. In conclusion, my dear friends, the call to act as if nothing bothers you is not a call to deny the struggles of life, but a call to live out a deeper faith in the midst of them. It is a declaration that no matter the storm, no matter the trial, we trust in the Lord's power to sustain us, to guide us, and to bring peace that transcends our understanding. When you choose to live with a calm, unwavering trust in God, you become a living testimony of His peace. You become a light in the darkness, a reflection of the one who promises that in Him we can have peace despite our circumstances. This peace isn't something we muster up on our own. It's something we receive as we lean on God's strength, His wisdom, and His love. So I challenge you today, choose peace. Choose to walk through each day as though nothing bothers you, not because the challenges aren't real, but because your trust in God is greater than any storm you face. When you do this, you not only find personal victory, but you also become a source of encouragement and strength to those around you. You become an example of what it looks like to truly trust God in every circumstance, and your life will shine brightly, drawing others to the source of your peace. Remember, in the face of every challenge, God is with you. He is your refuge, your strength, and your peace. So, don't let the struggles of life overwhelm you. Stand firm, keep your eyes on Him, and let His peace be the constant anchor in your life. The world may be full of chaos, but you can rest in the assurance that with God, nothing can truly bother you